Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another one of my tank reviews. And today we are going to be looking at the IS-3. Since I already grinded through it and got the IS-8 already, I might as well just do this. So is the IS-3 any good? Well, of course it is. I haven't played a bad tank in this line yet, and I started from KV1. KV1 was really good. KV1S was probably the most overpowered tank for its tier. The IS was pretty damn good as well, and the IS-3 is a beast as well. So the IS-3, it's all about aggression. This tank, this is the tier 8 assault vehicle. This tank is all about going forwards and putting the pressure up. There is no camping in IS-3s. Let's start with the mobility though. It goes around 30, but the acceleration is pretty poor. It picks up speed really nice down the hills, but the acceleration, the engine is not that great for the weight of this thing. And you can't. If the VK is a slow medium, this is just a fast heavy. You can't keep up with mediums in this thing. So don't even try to take some silly spots with this tank. It's not gonna work out. And that brings us to the armor. The armor on the IS-3 is still kinda troll. It's less troll than the one on the IS, but the hull armor is shit. If you show your hull, front hull, you have to expect to be penetrated. I mean, the hull armor is shit, and the turret is awesome at points, but the turret has a weak spot on top. If you see the plate right on top of the turret, that's paper thin. That can be penned from the front. If the tank that's shooting you is higher up than you are, like a Lobe for instance, the gun is mounted higher, he can put shot after shot on that upper plate of the turret, and it will always bend. A good way to keep track on that is to try to always use the max gun depression you have. On the city map is pretty hard, but try to always have all of the gun depression used so they can't see the top of your turret. And look at this. This is the IS-3 armor. Yak Panther, Tiger P both has around 200 penetration. Both went straight through my plate. It's not gold. It's just the IS-3 armor is crap. If you're not hull down, you have to expect to be penetrated. And side scraping is valid option in IS-3s as long as they don't shoot your sides instead of your wrongly angled front plate. Then you have no, they will always bounce. In this angle, they will always bounce. So side scraping is a valid option, hull down is a valid option, but they both are risky because good players will rape side scraping IS-3s like there is no tomorrow. You can't side scrape against like good tier 8 players. They will pen you every time. Maybe some tier 7s will have even issues with your play, but not tier 8s. And then comes the gun, the 122mm BL9. It's a monster of a gun. This gun gets through any tier 8 heavy's armor without aiming too much. Like, if you see a Tiger 2, just aim for the turret and you'll pen him 9 times out of 10. So this gun is a monster. 390 alpha, 225 penetration, reload about 11 seconds. So the DPM is not that bad as well. It's not great, but it's not bad. So yeah, the IS-3 is a total beast. As you see in this game, I was aggressive. I tried to take the first shot, first spot that on the Tiger 2, but that didn't work out so well because of the Lobe who flanked me. But then I decided just to kill the tier 7s, and now I'm coming back to the base. So the equipment varies. It's about how you like to play. I went with the rammer, vents, and gun and bird stab, but you can switch out vents for gun leg drive if you like to keep this tank a bit more range. But I don't, so in these kind of distances you really don't need that gun leg drive, so I don't have it. About cruise skills, the standard really. 6 sense repairs, always nice. Snapshot, smooth ride after basically that's it. And the research order should be different for some people as well. Everybody recommended me to get the gun before the turret, but I did otherwise because I knew that gun wasn't bad in tier the 175mm gun wasn't bad in tier 8, so I just went with that. And I'm gonna upload some games where I play with the stock gun in tier 10 games and still do amazingly good for that kind of a gun. So yeah, I think the gun choice, the turret is really nice. I mean, stock turret is utter shit on this tank, so the turret is really nice choice to get first. And I enjoyed my grind with the top turret with the stock gun. So yeah, I would recommend going running in that way. But you might hate the gun in tier 7, then you'll have problems with it on the IS-3, the 175mm penetration gun. Uh, so the torsion bars, turret, gun, and you should have already the engine from the IS, so that should not be a problem. So how does this thing differ from the IS and KV1S? Well, IS and KV1S were hardest hitters on the battlefield. Basically, there was nothing that could hit harder than the KV1S in tier 6, and not much things that could hit harder than IS in tier 7. But in the IS-3 is not the hardest hitting thing on the battlefield anymore. There's a lot of tier 8 tank destroyers, a lot of, well, the T-34 is, I guess, the only heavy that hits harder, but still, there is a lot of those as well. So you can't just rely on trading shots. You have to have effective engagement where you are hauled down and they are exposed, and so on. You have to have those engagements where they can bounce, but you will win always. That is how you should play this tank. You should be aggressive when your enemies are tier 7, but when you are facing a T-34 and a Loba, you have to play with the brains. You can't just rush in there and try to kill them all and not die, because the DPM is not that high and the armor is not that good and the alpha is not that good. So this tank has to be played with more brains, way more brains than the KONS or the IS, but it's still not that hard to play. You have to just have an effective engagement, try to find cover for your hull, and just try to go hull down and rape your enemies. As you see, side scraping hull, going hull down is really effective in the IS-3, especially when you're facing lower tier enemies. You can just send them their tanks back to their garage. And Top Gun, Steel Wall, Confederate, and Sniper. Not often you get Top Gun and Confederate in the same game. 4,756 damage done, and somehow 700 spotting as well. Probably was some tracking, I didn't remember where though. So yeah, that is 3. It is a really nice tier 8 heavy. Not my favorite tier 8, but it's still, if you want a really strong tier 8 heavy tank, this is it. This is what you want to get. It's not hard to play, and it's really strong for its tier. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I will see you on the next one.